glad you could come along.
I put a spell on you.
Grid is live. Initiate light cycle battle.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
For a safe trip, remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the cabin. Be sure to watch your children, and no smoking, please.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pirates and Princesses. This is Tom. I am here with Cam.
Hello.
And we've got a lot of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Universal news. We've got a lot of news this week.
There is a lot of news.
So we're going to have to do kind of a 5K to run.
We get a medal for this?
Do we get a medal for this?
I want a medal. I do those runs a lot, the virtual ones, because I don't get to go down there as much as I want to. So I want a medal for doing this.
The ABC News medal or something.
Well, no, it'd be a PNP News speed run.
Well, no, because Disney owns ABC. They'll give you like a little medal for a speed run through their news.
No, I don't think they like us that much.
No.
So
let's talk about all this stuff. You're going to lead this. You're going to run us through the multitude of the multiverse of madness, all the stories going on this week.
That's right. So put your running shoes on and grab your butt because we're going in. So we're going to start with this one. Disney announced after we did the last video that there was a big announcement that Disney has announced that they're teaming up with Warner Brothers for a new Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max streaming bundle.
Yeah, so we're basically back to cable at this point.
No, I think this is the whole thing is they're trying to team up to catch up to Netflix.
Yeah. So Max isn't doing that great. Disney Plus's numbers are pretty much flatlined, I think, at this point. And I think the only way that a lot of these streaming companies are going to survive is if they team up. And there are rumors that, there are going to be some other bundles in other places, Peacock and Paramount and all this other stuff. But yeah, this is interesting because I think both of these companies would have been better off just putting their content on Netflix.
Well, that's just it. They all used to. And then they decided they wanted their own streaming services. And we have on another channel, and we talked about it over there, that it's eventually going to be a Highlander situation, and that's kind of what's going on. We see it with blogs. They were all merging with each other and eating each other up to try to stay big enough for advertising. And I think that's what this is about. This is about being big enough to keep the big ads because they don't all go to Netflix, and to try to catch up to Netflix because each of them alone is nowhere near Netflix.
No.
However, if they team up, they're coming in second to Netflix, I believe. So they've announced this. It's going to be out, I think, summer of this year, I want to say. Now, interestingly enough, they're going to offer this bundle on all the channels. So you can get it on Disney Plus. You subscribe to it on Hulu, or you can subscribe to it on HBO Max. So I'm sorry, just Max now. So that's going to be offered on every platform.
Yeah, that's like Paramount. They rolled Showtime into Paramount, and I don't know. I think it's getting to a place where, as a consumer, I am totally happy just to have like Roku TV and just surf the channels like I used to, because that's basically what we're gonna do. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So that's coming out later this year, and there's no pricing yet. I'm assuming they're going to try to make some kind of good price point for it, so people will think they're getting a deal. I'm betting it's with ads, because I'm sure that's what they're trying to do, is leverage it for advertising dollars.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then they can say, oh, look, we'll all count each other's subscribers and say we have more subs. So that's coming. If you're interested in that, that's the first story we have. Last time we did a video, we talked about Disneyland Forward going to vote. Yes. To final approval. It was voted with unanimous vote. So that's going to move forward. Now, this is going to take, several years, obviously. It's going to take, I said, multiple decades, the way they talked.
Yeah, this is, the Disneyland doesn't have a lot of room, but it's interesting because they keep announcing this stuff because they want people to think that they have a plan going forward. Like, we're investing in the parks. Honest, might take 20 years to see it, but
we are.
But we are, for reals.
So with this deal, I think that's why Anaheim agreed to it, because they went through the Anaheim City Council. Disney has to spend at least $1.9 billion on the Disneyland expansion within the next 10 years. They're also going to give $30 million towards affordable housing within the next 5 years. $15 million is going to be within the first year, and the remaining $15 million within the 5 years. And They also agreed to pay the city $8 million for Anaheim Parks in year 1 and $10 million for sewer improvements on Zacatela Avenue because they're going to be using that. Like they're merging stuff in, and it's going to be part of their infrastructure around it. So they have to do sewer improvements to be able to maintain and support what they're going to do.
Okay.
So that's moving forward. We don't know what's going to go in it yet. I know there's going to be some shopping and restaurant areas added.
Of course. Oh my God. I thought it was funny yesterday. Universal put a tweet up and they're like, rides, am I right? And I think they're basically talking like, all of Disney's announcements are either reskins or restaurants or other experiences and not rides. Like people want rides when they think, oh, we're going to expand the park. They want rides. They don't want a meet and greet. They don't want a re-theme. They don't want another restaurant. They want rides.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens at D23. So there's that. Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Okay, we have an opening date for that. It's June 28th is the official opening. They usually tend to do soft openings ahead of this. I know AP, annual pass holders, are already booking spots to get early access to the attraction. So they're going to be running like the media event soon, and then they're going to run AP events, and they're going to probably do some soft openings before they open it. They announced it on American Idol, I guess. It was funny because the press release dropped, and then they pulled it. And then it was on Disney Parks blog later because they were trying to save it for American Idol, but I think somebody screwed up and they released it sooner than that evening.
You're fired, intern. You are fired.
Well, that's what happens when you rely on interns for most
college program.
For most of your stuff. Also, speaking of annual pass holder, Disney's going to give a 20% discount off of annual pass holder food and beverages, non-alcoholic, for VIP pass holder days. VIP pass holder days is running now, May 1st to June 26th. And usually you get 10% discount. You're going to up it to 20% discount. If you got to piratesandprincesses.net, I have a list of the different locations that this counts at, but it does count at places like Be Our Guest and Cinderella's Royal Table. Jungle, the Skipper Canteen, Liberty Tree, those places over at Epcot, Akershus is one of them. Coral Reef, a lot of the big, Le Cellier is one of them. They must really be desperate. Over at Hollywood, the Brown Derby's in there. They pretty much all the big ones. At Animal Kingdom, it's just Tiffin's and Tusker House. But a bunch of the resort hotels also have it available. So at the Sebastian's Bistro, California Grill. So there's a lot of places they're putting this up for. So they really, really want your money at the restaurants. So annual pass holders, if you're going to VIP pass holder days, you can take advantage of that and get double a discount.
Yeah, they probably just jacked the prices up 20%.
No, I don't think they did. But yeah, I think it's because they're like, hurry, we got to make money somehow.
I think that's exactly what's going on. I think they're freaking out. Yeah.
So speaking of pass holders again, but this time it's Universal Orlando annual pass holders.
Okay. You can't see this because this is an audio podcast. I'm looking at this mock-up, and this is like the most cut and paste Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. So that's the conceptual rendering. So Universal Orlando annual pass holders, UOAPs, can get previews for DreamWorks Land at Universal Studios Florida. So they said on May 21st, pass holders will be able to sign up for the previews between May 24th and May 27th. Pass holders will be able to RSVP for themselves and up to 8 other pass holders. So they're going to release more information soon. Team member previews have begun this week. If you're a pass holder for Universal Orlando, get ready because they're going to have that open here on the 21st.
Okay.
So there's that. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween.
Man,
we're going to talk about
speed run. I'm trying to my brains.
I know. I'm sorry. I have to be somewhere, and that's why.
I know. That's okay. I'm just like I'm trying to like digest this. So guys, you can go back. You can play this podcast like 5 more times.
I'm sorry. You told me to be fast.
I know you're being fast. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about different theme parks and events. Okay. I'll try to be slower.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to digest because this is all new news to me. Like you've been following this stuff all week. And
but I'm assuming a lot of people who listen to this podcast follow this stuff all week too, so they kind of know what's going on probably more than you do.
Probably.
So, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. We have the pricing. Okay. So the tickets opened up earlier for those who have resort hotel bookings. Okay. And now I think I want to say it's tomorrow that it's opening up for everyone else. So I have the prices for that if you haven't booked your tickets yet, so you know what it is. The lowest price ticket went up $10.
Okay.
All right. A lot of the stuff It's very similar to last year. There's like one or two more of the expensive tickets compared to last year. I'll talk about that in a second.
It's so expensive.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Money now.
Children
Wow.
are usually on average $10 less. If you have a DVC or an AP, your discounts are going to be $10 less. Okay. Opening night is about the same as last year. August 9th, $149 per adult, $139 per child. August 13th, 16th, 20th, 23rd, 27th, and 30th are going to have the lowest price tickets of $119 per adult and $109 per child. And that's an increase of $10, as I told you. September 2nd, 6th, 8th, 10th, 13th, and 15th are $129 per adult and $119 per child. This time frame is up $10 from last year. The 17th, 20th, 22nd, 24th, 26th, 27th, and 29th is $149 per adult, $139 per child. October 1st and 3rd, $169 per adult, $159 per child. 6th, 8th, 10th, 14th, 15th, and 17th are $179 per adult, $169 per child. I know. 4th, 11th, 18th, 20th, 21st, and 24th are $189 per adult and $179 per child. And then the 25th, 27th, 29th, and 31st are $199 per adult and $189 per child.
The closer you get to Halloween, the more it costs because people are going to want to go to the Halloween event closer to Halloween. It's weird to go to a Halloween event in August.
And I got these from my friend John. So, thanks to John for those. I also want to mention that they have the pricing for the dessert parties. So if you want to spend more money at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Disney will gladly take it. So as part of the event, you can book dessert parties. Personally, I mean, it's nice because you can see the fireworks and the shows and stuff. Well, not the stage show so much, but the fireworks and things. However, I think, in my opinion, you're better served not to do these because you're going to miss so much while you're spending all your time at the events. You could have been out riding rides or going trick-or-treating. And since the night isn't that long, I think the party starts, I want to say like 7 and it goes to midnight. You're only getting a few hours anyway. And it sounds like a lot of time, but it really, really isn't. And in among that time, you have the stage show, the parade, the fireworks, trick-or-treating, meet and greets. Pop-up dance parties. True. We got stuck in one the last time we went.
Kind of funny. It was like it just happened around.
It was like one of those.
Tomorrowland. It was a Monsters. I think it was a Monsters Inc.
It was.
And all of a sudden, here comes like Mike Wazowski and Sully just came up kind of grinding next to the kids. And I'm like, well, that sounds bad. But I'm like, what the heck is going on? I know,
they just pop up out of nowhere. And it's like one of those, what do they call those, where they just suddenly everybody starts doing something.
The flash mob?
It's like a flash mob.
It was like a Monsters Inc. flash mob. It was like, whoa.
And all these people appear out of nowhere.
And smoke started blowing. And I'm like, what the heck?
Because you guys are waiting for us on Space Mountain.
Yeah, and the party just like popped up and they're all like hanging out with the kids and stuff. I'm like, yeah, is this supposed to happen? What? I don't know.
Well, you knew it was supposed to happen.
Well, no, I didn't know the party was over there.
Oh yeah, it's all one of them's always. There's a couple different ones, but there's always one there. So anyway, if you're interested in the dessert parties and you want to pay more money, I'm going to give you information about that. But personally, I love dessert parties. They're like I think one and done type situation. But I think with the Halloween party, you're really limited on time. So here is what's going on. There's going to be 2. One is Not So Spooky Spectacular Dessert Party with Plaza Garden Viewing. And this one's going to be $99 per adult and $59 for children. Of course, adults 10 and over. And these are available the same nights as the Not So Scary Halloween Party. All right. Okay. The only difference between this one and the other one is where you're sitting. The Not So Spooky Spectacular Dessert Party is at Tomorrowland Terrace. And the price for that is more. It's $119 per adult and $75 for children. Again, the same nights as the party event. So there you go. Those are available. I think you can book them now if you're interested.
It's just, I mean, literally, it's doubled in price in the last.
It's insane.
10,
it's definitely outpaced inflation significantly.
Yeah.
And I honestly think some people are like, oh, well, they do that so that they can have lower crowds. I don't think so. Disney shoves in, especially after the pandemic, the crowd levels were insane. They were shoving in, I think, way more people than they used to shove in. And then they were like, oh, you're paying that price because there's less crowds and you can get on attractions and stuff. Honestly, if you want to ride rides at Magic Kingdom, the day to go to Magic Kingdom Park is the day they have a party or an after-hours event because they close early. And because they close early, a lot of people go to other theme parks instead. So if you have a park hopper, you can jump to another park. A lot of people just go to the other park for a day because they don't want to spend for park hoppers. I recommend going for the day, if you're not going to the party, to Magic Kingdom on party days. Yes, it gets cut short. You might not see the fireworks and things, but if your priority is attractions, you're going to be able to get lower waits for those attractions because everybody's like, holding out because they don't want a partial day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're being very quiet.
No, I'm just trying to process the prices because I'm like, my brain's trying to do the math.
I mean, if you do like some of those $200 a night, a family of 4 with taxes, that's like $900+ And then if you add the dining things to it at like $120 or whatever, you can be spending $2,000 flipping dollars just to go to Magic Kingdom for a night to go to one party.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, Disney, they will gladly take your money.
No, gladly. And then they offer all that merchandise and special treats that are only available during the event. On top of it, it's just a big money suck. I mean, you might as well stick a vacuum in your pocket and call it a day. Anyway, I was waiting for you to make a joke, but you didn't. So another thing I want to talk about real quick, and this is a rumor-ish. It's rumor, it's true. Okay. So apparently there has been permits filed for installation of set elements to Peter Pan's flight. All right. It's the Inter-America Stage group that does it. They're the ones who are doing the Country Bear Jamboree right now. They're redoing it. So people are asking the question. We don't know yet what it's for. They didn't specify, just set elements. So people are asking, are they going to shut down Peter Pan to take the problematic elements out like we're doing with Country Bear and they did with Jungle Cruise, where they took the natives and turned them into chimpanzees and made Trader Sam a person that's, fencing lost and found items because that's so much better than what it was. People are asking if that's what they're going to do. We don't know, but we do know that there are permits filed.
Yeah, the most problematic part of that ride for, I guess, diversity and inclusion reasons would probably be the Native American scene, Tiger Lily. That's been a point of contention for people even before they started doing all the changes at Disney. Some people pointed that out and been like, yeah, that's kind of racist-y. We might, So, they changed Splash Mountain.
Yeah. I should have brought that up. Yeah, duh.
All of it. So, is it conceivable that they would take that scene out? Yeah, absolutely. Now, there were rumors that they were going to boot Tinkerbell out of Disney parks completely.
Oh, yes. I forgot all about that.
I don't think that is the case. They might detangle her from Peter Pan, but mostly I think that the meet and greet, I think they just took it out because of the DVDs now.
Oh, that's right. There was a story going around that they took it out for woke reasons.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's the case. People are going to get mad at me for this, but I don't care. I don't think that's the case because it seems to be the Pixie Hollow version of the character. Plus, they do this all the time. They rotate characters out, and it was at the theater. And they do rotate characters there. They're probably just going to put new characters based on IP in, and they're preemptively removing Tinkerbell. She's still available at the park. She's still on the parade. She still does the flyover. She's still there. They aren't erasing Tinkerbell from the parks. No. I think they're just changing out the meet and greets all. Yeah. I don't think it's a big deal, but people were losing their crap online over it, and because of wokety woke DEI, and it's I don't think that's what the problem is. However, I would not be surprised if they change Peter Pan's flight.
Yes.
Some people were thinking, they're going to do it like Tokyo Disney Sea has their Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. I doubt that highly.
No.
One, I think that's a boat ride.
Yeah.
Two, it is very screen heavy. The beginning looks like Navi River, and then it looks like it merges into Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. The building is very small. I do not believe that they're going to turn it into Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. I think they're probably going to update it. They're not going to shut it down at least until Splash Mountain opens. I can't think they would because that's such a huge traffic draw.
Yeah, I mean, there were talks that they were going through the parks and they were going to get rid of problematic attractions. They were even talking the Hall of Presidents they might get rid of they were talking Lin-Manuel Miranda and Weird Al doing something.
Yes, they had that rumor for a while. Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see him do like Muppets history or something.
I think that's what they were talking about, something like that, and they were going to do that and then make new music. But
yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. Disney. I mean, I'm definitely not making excuses for them, but they are, absolutely going through. Purging any problematic elements from their attractions. And now I think they're going to cool down. I think they did an initial audit and they got rid of their one DEI person. But I think they probably already set these plans in motion years ago.
So we'll see what happens with that. It could just be like an update to the sets. It doesn't necessarily mean, but when they're saying set elements, it makes you kind of wonder.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. It's been long rumored to be on the chopping block. One more story, and then we're going to go into Marvel and movies at Disney. Bluey is coming back. We thought Bluey was gone, but now Bluey's returning. However, they're mini-sodes. So when I say mini-sodes, we're talking like 1 to 3 minute long episodes.
Oh, perfect for TikTok.
That's true. They're doing mini-sodes, and they're going to start on July on Disney Plus. So they are getting more. There's only going to be 20, but they're 1 to 3 minutes long. And according to the press release, it says the Bluey mini-sodes highlight funny and sweet moments featuring Bluey and Bingo, leaning into playful interactions and games that further explore the characters and world of Bluey.
So weirdly, Bluey, as I understand it, is like the biggest thing on Disney Plus, and it's not even a Disney production.
No, and I don't think Disney's got the theme park rights for it. They want to pay for it or whatever.
Oh my
either.
God, wouldn't it be funny if Universal did though?
I don't know who has it, but they didn't. So
we got Harry Potter, and we got Mario, and we got Bluey.
Well, that would be impressive if they did. But yeah, so they're doing these mini episodes probably because people were complaining that Bluey was gone and they're off to make some weird show about a teenager in a sexual awakening instead.
Yeah.
But they're giving you these in the interim. They said before they might come back, but who knows? There's that for Bluey fans. And now we're going to go into Marvel and Willow. We're talking about Willow too.
Yeah, so they're spending a lot of money on all this stuff, aren't they?
They are, and they spend way more money than they report, apparently.
Oh, what? Disney accounting? Hollywood accounting? Imagine that.
They have, I don't know. They do report it, but you have to dig for it for a lot of the things. Willow, for example, we'll start with that one because that's a good example.
Okay.
So everybody thought Willow had cost around $100 million for 8 episodes, which is insane. For 8 episodes of a show that literally was pulled off within 6 months because it did so terrible.
Right.
They took a write-down instead. It turned out, because of an article in Forbes by Caroline Reed, which I highly recommend anything she writes, check her out. It costs closer to $156 million. It was $156.8 million. That's almost $20 million per episode.
Wow. Okay, so just to put this in perspective, they had to take a write down on Willow because it was such a disaster for them. But this probably partially explains why, because it's why would they they spent so much money on it. But they could have filmed a whole new Willow movie, just done a movie, and they probably would have made more money off of a solid...
It made it about Willow?
A solid Willow movie about Willow, and not the ship fest that the show actually was.
And they said that 53 million of that went to London's ILM, Industrial Light and Magic office, to do effects and stuff. I'm assuming
it didn't look that expensive. Mm-mm. Even the original Willow was kind of done on a shoestring compared to Star Wars, right? But this show did not look expensive. It looked like LARPing. It looked like The Witcher.
It did. Well, I mean, I didn't watch. It might have had more effects later. A lot of people, I watched first couple episodes and said nope. So they said that they did some of it in the UK, which we hear this a lot, that they were listing the movie under Barking Lion Productions. Because I guess if you're going to get this money out of the UK, you have to have a company there. So they register these companies with these fake names. Barking Lion Productions is the one they used for Willow. And they said that because they did that, the UK gave an audiovisual expenditure credit, an AVEC, and they gave them a bunch of money for that, and another $5 million grant for filming in the UK. So that took them down to costing about $120.7 million. Still way too much for the show. Wow. People are like, but Willow was so popular. No, it really wasn't. And the reviews were not great. The critical reviews, of course, are good because it was everything that the critics love and not much that people who actually liked Willow liked. They said Samba TV reported that the two episode launch, and I think it was November 30th, 2023, were watched by 481,000 households in the first 5 days. And that sounds really impressive until you make some comparisons here. Ms. Marvel's show, which everybody knows kind of like really didn't do that well on Disney Plus, and it was like a disappointment for the Marvel shows, had a 1 episode premiere, and it did 775,000 for the first 5 days. And Secret Invasion, which has the lowest rated episode of any MCU thing ever, because it's really bad, still did 994,000 households for 1 episode in the first 5 days. Which is like more than twice the viewership of Willow.
Willow, look, I mean, initially I was excited when they were going to make more Willow. That excitement soon waned as we learned more about it. But Willow was never a major franchise. It was a one-off movie that George Lucas was going to start another series, and that the original movie didn't do that well. It did okay, but it didn't warrant doing any more. And they did some books and whatever. But for the most part, Willow was just kind of like, it was a thing that George Lucas made after Star Wars. And it kind of came and went, and it had its moment, and that was it. But they tried to bring it back because they have to strip mine everything that they bought, right?
Well, we're here now, like, okay, Lucasfilm. The Star Wars is in decline.
Yeah.
Star Wars is in decline. The Willow, they completely effed up and they had to pull it within 6 months. And Indiana Jones was one of the top 5 failures of 2023. That's a 3 for 3 on that one. Why the heck is Kathleen Kennedy still in charge? That's my question. I mean, they have completely pissed away, I hate saying swear word on here, pissed away the entire Lucasfilm slate.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, good job. Also costing more. They said it turned out Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness cost more than Avengers 2.
Wow. Well, that I can believe because it had a lot of special effects shots, jumping through the multiverse. I mean, this is what they're talking about. They're saying that going forward, they're probably going to make cheaper Marvel, but that's going to be after we get through Secret Wars. Unless they make Secret Wars just take place in like an office building or something. Yeah.
Well, that's true. But they said, let me look here. They said that they declared the production cost was $414.9 million.
Oh my God. And
that was the budget.
Yeah. So everybody's like, oh, look, this movie made so much money. It's like, yeah, did it really? Because when, you start mapping it out, a movie that even made $1 billion might barely break even when you're spending, $400-500 million to make the movie.
Well, they said it did $955.8 million. So you usually have to do double that. So if it made money, it didn't make a lot. Usually, because you have to remember, theaters take a cut. Mm-hmm. You have your advertising. You have your marketing budget. You have all this other stuff. You have residuals you have to pay out to people. So where it looks like you make a lot of money, you really don't. They said whatever the budget is, usually double it, and that's break even. So even if you doubled that, they didn't make a whole lot on this film. They made money, though. I think no matter how you look at it, they made some money. But I don't think it was a whole lot because I think that they overspent, which is all tying back to Bob Iger's mandates about we got to do fewer films and shows and we have to cut the budgets because they're too expensive. And a lot of times, the Multiverse of Madness one, you can see where they put a lot of money into the effects and stuff. But a lot of times, honestly, like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, you're like, why did you spend so much on this pile of crap?
Yeah. And that's the thing, because Bob Iger has to be looking at other studios, including, Universal, and looking at FNAF. And FNAF was, $20-25 million and actually made more profit than a lot of these Marvel movies did. And so they're looking at this, and they're looking at, Godzilla -1, and they're looking at all these other, even Oppenheimer. These movies were made cheaper than these big Marvel tentpoles. And I think we're going to be beyond the age of bloat, because I think Disney's like, we can't risk $400-500 million for a movie that we do not know if it's going to perform or not.
And sometimes I think it's just them spending money because they're like, well, we're Disney and Marvel. We have to spend it so we look bigger than we are.
People expect it now, though. That's the problem.
Right.
The problem is
But you can do something that amazing and do it way cheaper.
Yeah. You're just going to have to tell smaller stories. And honestly, people get to a point where they're like, the CGI is distracting. It looks like a video game.
Mm-hmm. And then they're also, putting too much work on the VFX departments, and they're expecting them to do like 5 or 6 shows and films at once. If you're doing 1 or 2, you could do less with more. or more with less. They were doing less with more. Now they can do more with less. You know what I mean?
They're going to have to be
more with less
creative, I think, about it. And they're going to have to tell better stories. People will give a pass on the budget or the special effects or whatever if the story is good, the characters are compelling, the acting is good. And you're going to have to get beyond this whole like well-polished turd. Because I think we had with Marvel, a lot of well-polished turds, but people go back to the original Iron Man, go back to the original couple of Marvel movies, and they did not have nearly the budget.
No.
That the new ones have, but they were better movies.
Some of the movies that still stand the test of time today that are still popular, like the original Star Wars and stuff, they were done on smaller budgets. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think they get to a place where I can just spend money because it's there. Well, spending money because it's there is not a good enough reason, and the proof's in the pudding and the numbers show it. Yep. So I have one more story that's kind of like about Marvel, and then we're going to talk about a couple casting announcements. Okay, there's a website. Well, it's not a website. It's an account on Twitter and on Instagram. It's called Can We Get Some Toast? Okay.
Yes.
They leak Marvel stuff all the time. They always are leaking stuff. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not. A lot of times they are. They had put up apparently some footage. I know they put up a photo of Captain America: Brave New World, the movie that I don't think many people care about at all. Has had so many pushbacks and reshoots. I think people forgot about it. Actually, he's doing them a favor by leaking stuff because it brings people's attention back to it, because otherwise they don't care. I guess they're going after this account. They issued subpoenas to Instagram demanding their identities because they're mad because they leaked something. And they said it was, they wanted to take DMCA takedown. It was copyrighted material. And they're demanding that they give them their names, physical addresses, IP addresses, telephone numbers, email addresses, payment account information, parents' names. No, I added that one.
Oh my God.
They're going after this account because they leaked some pictures. This isn't the first time. This happened with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. There was a Portuguese script leaked before the movie. And they're like, well, you ruined our chances. No, your script was crap. Your effects were crap. The movie was crap. The script being leaked did not ruin your movie. Your own choices and writing what you wrote ruined your movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a dangerous precedent if a company can just force a social media platform to out someone because of trade secrets getting leaked or whatever, because that is going to be massively abused. But Disney's, they put the pressure on YouTube. They took the downvotes away, I think, because they threatened to, and that's what they'll do. They'll be like, well, it'll be a real shame if we don't spend money on Instagram anymore.
That's not going to happen, Instagram, because they use you too much. They were building a whole marketing plans around Instagram.
Yeah.
Now I think they're going for TikTok, but I'm just saying, Instagram, I wouldn't worry about them not giving you money because they need you too bad. They were going to not use Twitter anymore. And they took down the one account, but they kept using Twitter for everything else. I'm sorry, X. They kept posting on X for everything else. And then recently, when they needed attention to like their Inside Out 2 trailer, they put it back on X anyway.
And they're paying for gold checks.
Yes.
All their accounts have gold checks.
And they're promoting. I guarantee it. They're paying to promote.
Well, yeah.
So, they're going to talk a good game, but when push comes to shove, they need the social media platforms.
Yes.
Probably more than the social media platforms need them. So I don't think I'd worry too much. But I think Reddit was where they went after them last time for Ant-Man. And I don't know if Reddit ever turned it over. I know they were fighting against turning it over. I don't know if it ever got turned over.
I think part of it is just saber rattling. I think they're trying to be like, well, if you leak our crappy movie script, we're going to come after you. But again, if the leaks were well received, they'd be like, oh, good, everybody's talking about it. Because that was
I think they leak stuff sometimes.
Yeah. That was like Doctor Strange. They're like, oh my God, Professor X is going to be Doctor Strange. Wow, that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure they leak stuff. They on their own because we need to drum up interest. But like I said, this count, I'd be telling them thank you because people got talking about your movie again because nobody gives a crap about it. And it doesn't even come out till next year. And the McDonald's toys already got leaked and people have already moved past it and it hasn't even come out yet. Another one, real quick before we get to casting. Another Marvel MCU thing that I think people move past because they're like, that hasn't come out yet because it's taken too dang long and it's been pushed back and it's ridiculous, is the Agatha Harkness show. How many times do I have to put up new title cards for this dang stupid show? The WandaVision came out in 2021.
Yeah, so I think everybody's kind of moved beyond it. Like, they had a moment with Agatha. They had gone right into the Agatha show.
I agree.
Because I know that the song went viral and people loved it. Now they're going to be like, Agatha, oh, that was that character. Okay, I vaguely remember her. Yeah, I forgot all about WandaVision.
Well, they're too busy turning songs into musical numbers for Doctor Who now, which is a whole other story we should have brought up. We didn't bring up in this video.
But I'm sitting here like, okay, let me get this straight. We have WandaVision. We're going to give Agatha Harkness her own show before we give Vision another show.
Well, there is a report that they're doing a show with Vision. Then.
Okay, because I was going to we have Vision Quest, but then
I think that's what they're doing is Vision Quest.
Well, Vision Quest, they kind of sort of did it with WandaVision, but the next logical step would probably be the Visions, where he's got like another family or something, but.
I don't know. I think from my understanding, it was Vision Quest they're basing it on, but I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I don't have it in front of me. I see a lot of stuff. It all kind of blends together after a certain point.
Honestly, Marvel at this point, they're just making it up as they go. They're taking a couple of story beats from the comics, but I mean, literally, where the MCU is right now, it's like 5% comics and like 95% fan fiction. They're just making this up as they go.
But the Agatha Harkness thing, they put up another title card. Now, remember, we started out with, it was, I think it was House of Harkness.
Yes.
And that was in 2021 when they announced it. Then 2022 was Agatha Coven of Chaos. And then 2022 again, it was Agatha the Darkhold Diaries. That might have been 2023. I don't remember. And now it's Agatha the Lying Witch with Great Wardrobe.
That's stupid.
It's a stupid title. People are suspecting, which I personally think that's what's going on too, is that they're trying to wrongly use this as a marketing tool because it's just blowing up in their faces. But these are probably the episode titles. It's probably going to be called Agatha because it's usually Agatha and then something else. These are probably like Agatha in episode 1, the House of Harkness, kind of thing. So that's what people think what it is. But they keep dropping this ever so often, like, don't forget.
That's exactly what is going on. Yeah, don't forget the show exists. Don't forget about the character. I mean, honestly, the thing to do is just call Agatha All Along because that was the song and just lean into that because that's what people remember. That's what people remember is that song.
But they're not because people aren't remembering it. And the thing is, Agatha Harkness was a show I kind of wanted to see. And the more I hear about it, the less interested I get in it. But it's been so long that even interest you had, I think, has waned. And now you just drug it out too long. And it wasn't because of the pandemic, because you greenlit it in 2021.
I'm like, are they doing this deliberately? Are they making it take as long deliberately to be like, oh, okay, so now to refresh your memory, you have to go back and watch WandaVision again and refresh your memory so we get that watch time. Go watch WandaVision.
I don't know.
So remember who this character is.
By the time it comes out, people aren't going to care. Same with Captain America: Brave New World, because we had 2021 was when they had, Captain. It was or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And that's when they had that.
Sidekicks.
Nobody cared. Yeah, basically, they just called it sidekicks.
Sidekicks. Oh my God, they did with Chuck Norris, wasn't that?
Yes, that was a good movie. Anyway, people are just over it. They've moved on.
Yep.
But speaking of things that people might maybe be excited about, we have some casting announcements. You could talk about this one because did you see these before?
Yeah, I did see these. So it was kind of people are like, what is going on with this Fantastic Four movie? Ralph Ineson, I think, who has a very, very deep voice. He has been cast as Galactus. I can hear it in the voice, but I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, you do not look like Galactus. But I'm also like, what are they going to do with Galactus? And, after what they did with MODOK, I'm like, are you guys actually going to do Galactus justice? Because let's remember, it works in the comics, but he's just a giant purple dude with a big helmet. Mm-hmm. But in the comics, they explain that's just how Galactus appears to humans. Galactus has different forms depending on the race that views him. Mm-hmm. So they try to be like, yeah, it's dumb that it's just this big dude that just eats plants. It's like, no, he actually doesn't look like that. But then it's still better than the Cloud in the other Fantastic Four movies. But yeah, so we have a female Silver Surfer. We have Galactus, which I hope they do him justice. I think they'll probably make him a Celestial in this one just to make it easier because every giant space menace is a Celestial in the MCU. And then we have John Malkovich is also people think he's gonna be Mole Man maybe, but like
I can kind of see that in the face.
Yeah, he's starting to look more like Elton John.
He does look more like Elton John.
But I could see him playing Mole Man. I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're trying to throw everything at this Fantastic Four movie. I like the notion that it's going to be kind of retro futuristic, early 60s kind of.
But some people are saying they think it's going to start out that way, and then they're going to get like knocked out or something when they wake up again, like Captain America. It's going to be modern time. I don't know.
Well, the other theory was this is actually a parallel universe, that they got knocked into a parallel universe where the 60s future actually happened. And this is where we're kind of at. Like, this is actually current year, but it's retro futurism, which I love.
I like that too, actually.
But then they're gonna get brought over to this world, and they're gonna bring, but basically we're gonna explain why the Fantastic Four, which was the original team that started Marvel Comics, like they were the very first team, even before Spider-Man. We're gonna explain where they've been this whole time. It's like, oh, they got knocked into another dimension.
Okay, that makes sense. So we'll see.
That's what we think is going to happen.
We'll see what happens. And then one last thing before we wrap this up. And I'm sorry, I told you it was going to be a marathon today. Well, it's more of 5K, but still.
10K, I get a bigger medal.
Okay, 10K. They just announced that Nicolas Cage is going to star in the new Spider-Man Noir series that Sony's doing, but it's going to MGM Plus and Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I know they had a deal because they were going to do Madam Web, and then they fired all the writers after the movie bombed.
I think they're still doing Silk as a show and stuff.
Silk, yeah. It was Silk.
Yeah, so they're going to be doing this, I guess, I'm assuming it's a live action show. That's going to be on MGM Plus and Prime Video. They announced it today ahead of their upfronts, because they're doing the upfronts today, which means like they're looking for money for advertising. Yeah. They're presenting their shows, trying to drum up interest for advertising.
You want to spend some money?
Yeah.
Sure you do.
So they did their upfront presentation, and they announced that the show is coming, which we knew about since like February of 2023. We've known about it for more than a year.
Yes.
But now they've announced that Nicolas Cage is going to be playing Spider-Man in this. And what it is basically, from my understanding, it was like after World War after, like, during the Great Depression, like 1930s, after World War I, and then it like leading into World War II. Yeah, is what this was, and he basically was fighting like the crime bosses, including Osborn and stuff, in this retro futuristic time period. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And it was like
sounds convoluted because
but you know what I'm saying. And it was black and it was a black and white, and I mean most of the comics are. But
they're basically going for like kind of the Shadow or kind of the pulp comics of like the 30s and 40s.
Right, and that's the vibe. And so then after he gets past those people, he goes after forces from Nazi Germany ahead of World War II. So that was the comic series. Spider-Man. Yeah, but it's Spider-Man. And it was back in the, early, like 2009, 2010?
Something like that. I never really followed that series, but like they had him in the Spider-Verse movies. And I think it's just, because Nick Cage right now, everybody wants Nick Cage for something.
Well, Nick Cage is really hot right now. He's so hot right now. But yeah, it's being developed by Oren Uziel and Steve Lightfoot, but the executive producers on top of them are Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Amy Pascal, who are behind Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and they got, it's so funny. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they got fired by Lucasfilm off of Solo, and they went to go do the Spider-Verse movies, and they made a lot of money.
Yeah, well, creative differences.
Creative differences.
They're probably better off for it. Pretty much, of all the people they announced for Star Wars, like maybe 1 out of 5 actually get through. So anyway, that's what I have for you today.
Wow, that was a lot.
That was a lot. I'm sorry. I told you there was going to be a lot.
Now, next week, there'll be nothing happening. So
it's feast or famine.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think right now, it seems like Disney, they always move in cycles when they announce stuff, and it all ties into quarterly earnings and ad spends and just trying to keep away from the competition. So, but I think they're going to be announcing a lot more because they especially as we get closer to Epic Universe opening, I think there's going to be a lot more parks news, even if it's non-news. Like
they're just going to try to look like they're doing busy work to do something.
New themed churro stand, guys. Cocoa churro stand coming.
That's right, coming soon.
Coming soon. It's a new attraction. A new cocoa attraction is coming to Epcot. It's a churro cart.
I think they're going to start announcing things. Probably, I think they're going to start announcing things, even if they know they can change it later, just to look like they're doing something. Because we've seen them do this before.
Well, I mean, they dug up Epcot. They had all kinds of plans for Epcot, and we got about half of what they announced.
Mm-hmm. And now they're trying. Beyond Thunder Mountain, where they didn't actually show anything. anything other than some art. And now they're trying to come back to that, and you leverage that because they feel like they really do need to compete because Epic Universe is going to come eat their lunch. But
it's going to take them 10 years to build anything.
No matter what they announce, it's going to take them forever.
Yeah, and how many trips to Epic Universe? And then it's like, okay, well, Mario's now our family's thing, and that's what
right. And they might be doing, this might be phase 1 of Epic Universe. There might be a second phase later where they have other areas they're going to build into as well.
Yeah.
So depending on the economics and how things are, because people can't afford things anymore, we'll see how it goes. But
can't afford groceries. They can't afford your overpriced hot dogs and pretzels, Disney.
Right?
Sorry.
But Universal too. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep, we're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. Where we found this, Spotify, Amazon, wherever, guys. And thank you for listening. We'll talk later.
Bye. Thanks again for listening. More news and videos are available on our website at www.piratesandprincesses.net. Our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. If you like the show, please consider subscribing and leaving us a positive review on iTunes and other podcast platforms. This podcast is a production of Clownfish Studios LLC and Web Reef Media, and we'll see you next time.